Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Mac Club for Thursday, November, whatever it is. Oh, hey, there's a new way I can find out. Yes, let's talk about the first thing with Mac OS is a new way of finding out the date and time, as I will bring in my voiceover to this thing. And yes, it may seem like I'm jumping the gun here, but there is a method to my madness. If I do VOF7.
1602, November 10th, 2022.
Oh, November 10th, 2022. Thank you. Um, there you go. We'll talk more about VOF7 in just a little bit. But this is the Mac Club for that day, and I am Herbie Allen here with you for the next hour. And today I'm going to be talking about macOS Ventura, new things that I have noticed. Some things I have a lot of familiarity with, and there are some things that I do not that I will just talk about. And of course, there will be time for your questions as well. And not just on Ventura, but anything Mac related in general. Along the way, we're going to talk about some bugs, some good things, some interesting things, maybe some uninteresting things, the whole 9 yards. And, with that, let's get things started. First of all, I see over on the Mac Club side, we have a couple of new people. Welcome, and glad to have you with us today. So, Mac OS 13 Ventura has been released now for several weeks, but I wanted to get a little bit more comfortable with it before covering it. So, one of the first things that you will notice after updating it is focus issues, responsiveness, and new voices. Oh boy, what a mouthful. But I assure you, it's all true. Now, one of the bugs that a lot of us have encountered, though I have some different bugs that I'll get into a little bit, is VoiceOver has no windows. And if you've heard about this bug, I'm going to address it now because one of the first places you're actually going to see this is on the setup window if you are looking to see what progress your Mac makes. And I was a little bit concerned when I encountered this. I was like, oh dear, am I having a voiceover bug or not? But no, did actually, indeed, when I reset my voiceover, setup window did not have any windows, so... And it did its thing, because I'm here with you all right now, obviously. So you don't need to worry about that. Updating was pretty painless, except one of the things you have to get used to now is the voice that runs now if you go into system recovery and when updates do that, if your Mac is one of those that does and it comes through your speaker, is you're going to hear Samantha rather than Alex. And this can be a boohoo moment for some of you. Me, I say it's actually a relief. But I do need to mention, though, that if you are using File Vault, you still get Alex on the username and password login. But I'm probably the only person on here that actually uses it, so I'm probably the only person that still hears Alex, unless you change your voice to him. So get used to Samantha. Even when running the update for the first time, you will hear her come through your speakers. So in my case, it was actually Fred that I heard before. So Samantha is rather a major improvement. So yes, one of the big bugs you may notice is VoiceOver has no windows. If it does this, there are two different things you can do. One is turn off and on VoiceOver. And I really should bring, there's some Mac students I have over on the club side that I should really bring up to see if they remember this little toggle or not, but I'm nice, I think.
Do you want me to bring them up?
I'm being merciful because they've got a killer review session coming up in a little bit, so, outside of this class, so I will be merciful. But unless you as the instructor think I shouldn't be, of course, then.
I'm here to do whatever you want.
Well, good non-answer. So I will be merciful and Command F5 will toggle VoiceOver off and back on, and that should resolve your no windows issue. When and where will you experience this? Well, that is hard to say. Myself, I primarily experienced this on the music app and Ponti's Media Downloader, which is a YouTube downloading program I use. But other people experience this frequently on the Finder. And so I can't really tell you for sure where you'll encounter this. So in my case, the other thing I can do, since it's an app, is I can Command Tab away from it and come back, and that also fixes the issue. Club Deck also gives me this thing, but that seems to go away, so I don't even know if it's a loading thing or a just a Club Deck thing. But now, here's where I told you mixed messages, because I said VoiceOver is also extremely responsive. And it is. What they've done now is a very interesting change. They've decided to go for compression and losing a little bit of quality. And what it does mean, though, is that your VoiceOver is going to respond to you a lot faster. Now, that being said, Safari, while it's great for navigating pages, at the end of the day, it's still Safari being Safari. And you are going to have, rather now than Safari being busy, is sometimes Safari not responding. And I actually find that I encounter this even more with the update. And it's not because of Safari, but it's because the VoiceOver is so much more responsive that it cannot keep up with Safari. And so they've actually made this worse, in my experience at least, rather than making it better in terms of Safari not being responsive. There is Chrome, and I am going to talk about web browsing on my next demo. So I find that on some sites at least, Safari not responding is actually more of an issue, especially with Quincy's Game Room. But there you go. All right. I talked about VOF 7 a little bit ago, so I think this is one of those things where they're attempting to copy JAWS and Windows and NVDA and make it a little bit fancier. So let's talk about VOF 7 now, because it is a 3-function tool that is Ventura specific. So you heard me demonstrate it already with the date and time. I will do this one more time for any latecomers.
78%. Not charging.
Oh, no, it already went to the second thing. So it cycles between 3 modes unless you do something else.
Message
I think
mail.
that breaks the cycle.
1609.
Yes,
November
it does.
10th, 2022.
So if you hit VOF 7 once, it gives you the date followed by the time. Mine is set to 24-hour time. So that's why I'm getting it as 1609, not 4:09 p.m. And so without breaking the pattern, if I do VOF 7 again,
78%. Not charging.
that is going to be my battery percentage. And if I do this one more time,
Good signal strength. 75%. Network. Fuzzy Logic 5G.
that is going to give me my Wi-Fi status. So it toggles between date and time, battery percentage, and Wi-Fi status. All right, I really should save this next part to last, because most of you are probably going to leave after this, because this is what you care about the most, I suspect. But I'm going to do this now. One of the things that we now have with Ventura are some new voices and some new frustrations along with that. One of the frustrations, first of all, is how it does pitches. And I will come
Mail,
back and
1238.
yeah, I'll demonstrate that in just a little bit. But we have some very interesting pitch fluctuations that can not be resolved in most voices, at least. But we also now have some additional voices as well. And one of the things that is more responsive now and loads faster is the speech attributes menu. I do like the fact that it does that. And I'm going to bring this up. If you are not familiar with it, it is a quick way of modifying a lot of your basic voiceover settings. You can toggle this with VO Shift Command, left or right arrow, up or down arrow. And it matters because a left to the up and down is going to move through the actual attributes such as rate, pitch, or whatever. Left and right is going to change the attribute. Though the first one I don't think matters as much, but anyway.
Rate. 45%.
So I'm now going to go to
Voice. Siri voice for United States.
Yes, so we're on the voices. So I'm
Read.
doing this very fast because I want to go from the top.
Read. Eddie.
And yes, you're hearing it.
Catherine, the closing voice menu.
Okay, so it starts off with a compact voice.
Voice. Catherine, Australia.
Gordon, Australia.
Karen, Australia. Karen Enhanced, Australia.
Siri Voice 1 Australia.
Siri Voice 2 Australia.
Arthur, United Kingdom.
Daniel, United Kingdom. Daniel Enhanced, United Kingdom.
Eddie, United Kingdom.
There you go, our first new voice, Eddie.
United Kingdom.
And notice something interesting here. I want to go back.
Grandma, United Kingdom. United Kingdom. Mail, 258.
So I've noticed this on iOS too. This is not just a Mac thing, but some Eloquence voices, the Flow voice particularly, is at a much faster rate than the rest of them. Another thing that you will have to get used to is voiceover itself is at a much faster rate than what it used to be. And so, for instance, I used to have my voiceover at 60%, and now I have to have it at 50% to match the old speed.
Voice, United Kingdom. Grandma, United Kingdom. Grandpa, United Kingdom.
Martha, United Kingdom.
Reed, United Kingdom. Rocco, United Kingdom. Sandy, United Kingdom. Shelly, United Kingdom.
Siri Voice 1, United Kingdom.
Siri Voice 2, United Kingdom.
And why do I have all these UK
Where is
voices in
Ireland?
there?
Rishi, India.
Vina, India. Vina Enhanced, India.
Erin, United States.
Thank you.
Alex, United States.
Allison, United States.
I think Allison is a new voice to the Mac, maybe not.
Allison, Enhanced, United States.
No, it is not.
Ava, United States. Ava, Enhanced, United States.
Bruce, United States.
Eddie, United States.
But this one definitely is. So yes, we can now use Eloquence with the Mac, as you heard with the British
Oh,
accents.
United States.
Fred, United States.
Very interesting. Now having Fred and Eloquence next to each other.
Grandma, United States. Grandpa, United States.
And why they put Fred in between the Eloquence voices, that is a very interesting mystery.
Junior, United States. Kathy, United States.
Nikki, United States.
Ralph, United States.
Nikki is definitely a new voice to the Mac. We've had her on iOS, and Ralph is also new.
Reed, United
I
States.
think.
Rocco, United States.
Samantha, United States.
Sandy, United States. Shelly, United States.
Siri Voice 1 United States.
Siri Voice 4 United States. Siri Voice 5 United States.
Tom, United States. Tom, Enhanced.
Vicky, United States. Tissa, South Africa.
So I'm gonna be nice
Shelly, Sandy.
Samantha.
Rocco, Reed, in
Ralph.
Reed, in closing. Voice
because
Mail, 2 of 38.
for now I'm going to give you all this in the context of Eloquence, at least for a little bit, for as much as I can stand. And let's focus on some other things. We do have
Voice, Reed, United States. Rate, 45%. Pitch, 50%. Volume, 100%. Intonation, 50%. Braille table, English, unified, language, English. Voice, Reed, United States. Rate, 45%. Pitch,
now
50%.
the last Ventura I had issues with the pitch a little bit,
Finder, open.
but it did update. But you can
Pitch, 55%, 60%, 65%, 50%.
yeah, so
Closing.
that does work.
Pitch menu,
But
Finder,
let's see
open.
if I can show you real quick what I mean by weird pitch fluctuations.
Doc.
In fact, we'll see if this does this with Eloquence. So I'm going to
Finder, open. Finder, drop.
bring up my
Add, list, one item selected.
ooh. Now see, I don't like this already about Eloquence. Let's go back.
ACB, group,
So first you set it one way, then another way.
2022. Add, folder.
Okay, it should be pronouncing it ACB and it's saying AGB. What is AGB? I don't know what.
ACB radio production. Add, folder.
Yeah, okay.
2020.
Anyway,
Sports call streaming. Folder. ACB ICAST credentials.
so I'm going to bring
Streaming
up
week
a
11.
streaming
Point six,
schedule
point 20.
here,
22.
and
Excel.
it's going to open up in numbers.
Open.
And this will definitely come out with the
Numbers.
Siri
Dialog.
voice.
Opening stream.
And we'll see if it does it in
Streaming week of
the
11.6.
Eloquence voice too. But
Sheet 1. White background. Picture 1. Link. Image. Table 1. 112 rows. Saturday. Row 26. Saturday. Row 27. Row 28. Row 29. Row 30.
yeah, so see, it's now doing these nice little pitch
Row,
weird
row, row,
things.
row 22. Friday. Row 21. Friday. Column B. 1 p.m. Column C. Writing Works Wonders. Column B. N/A. Column E. Chanel Allen 1.25. Column F. Lucy Edmonds 1.25. Column G. Cheryl McNeil Fisher and Kathy King. Column H. Anthony 5. Column I. Chanel Allen 1.5.
So getting used to these weird double pitch fluctuations, it's a little bit more tolerable, I'll say, in Eloquence, because it reminds you of the JAWS cursor voice being different than the PC cursor voice, unless you were like me and you changed it so it's all matching. But That's something we've had to get used to with VoiceOver. All right.
Finder. Streaming. Window. T7 touch. Volume.
The perhaps big thing now is going to be system preferences, or what was called system preferences. It is now system settings.
Dock. Finder. Open. 1 of 38.
And
Safari. 5 of 38.
I'm going to show you what it looks like now.
System settings. 11 of 38.
So, because this is going to be a new way of navigating it, and I'm going to do this the long way round. I like to bring up the system settings really through the context menu. That still works, and then VO space on the one I want. But some things have been shuffled around, so I'm just going to show you the long way round.
System Finder. T7 touch. Volume. System settings. Appearance. Window. Table. Appearance. Selected. Has keyboard focus.
So why it says appearance, I don't know, but
Search text field. Appearance. Zoom.
because
Button.
it's on appearance.
Appearance. Search text
But
field.
it says appearance no matter what it's on. So now you've got two different categories. You've got your table of main categories and then your sub table. So let's
Table. Appearance.
go into this table,
Accessibility.
and we can just down arrow.
Appearance. General. Screen time. Focus. Screen. General. Up. Accessibility. Control center. Syrian spotlight. Privacy and security. Desktop and dock. Displays. Wallpaper. Screensaver. Battery. Lock screen. Touch ID and password. Users and groups. Passwords. Internet accounts. Game center. Wallet and Apple Pay. Keyboard. Trackpad. Printers and scanners.
And that's at the very bottom. I can go back up to the top.
Screen. Wall. Desktop. Private. Syrian control. Accept. General. Screen. Focus. Sound. Notification network. Bluetooth. Wi-Fi. Family. Herbert Allen. Apple ID.
So a lot of these are the same, but then here is where things get a little bit interesting. And I'm going to try to show you some of the more interesting ones here. So I'm going
Users
to
and
go
groups.
to users and groups. And here's where we have our first big change. I'm going to VO right.
Vertical splitter. Users and groups. Scroll area.
And now I've got a scroll area. And by the way, I've been told this is similar to how an iPad is set up. So I guess that is the case. Maybe it works similar to containers. I don't know. I actually do not have an iPad, so
And users and groups. Scroll
I'm
area.
going to interact with the
17 items.
scroll
Herbert
area.
Allen. Herbert Allen. Show detail. Button. Admin. Chanel Allen. Show detail. But admin. Guest user. Show detail. Off. Add account. Button.
So these are your user accounts.
Automatically log in as. Dim. Off. Automatically log in as. Dim. Pop automatic login can't be turned on because file vault is enabled. Dim. Network account server. Network account server edit. Button. Network account server. Help. Button. Help. Button. Help. Help. Button.
Hey, wait a minute. Something is missing here. Where are my things to tell it where to start up? Oh, yes, we do need to talk about startup in just a minute. So don't let me forget that. This is one of the new things that's different. So I'm going to uninteract.
Out of users and groups. Vertical table. Users
And via left
Group.
back to that
Selected.
table. And I want, of all things, lock screen.
lock screen.
And you can use your first letter navigation in here, by the way. So just want to mention that. So, I was able to hit L for lock screen. And then, can I
lock
VOJ
screen.
in
Scroll
here?
area.
Yes, I can.
Three
Okay.
items. Start screen.
I don't think of VOJ much, but that does indeed work. And that automatically interacts me. So that's how you can save yourself a step or two, is just using VO and J.
Start screensaver when inactive. Never. Start screensaver when inactive. Pop-up button. Turn display off on battery when inactive. Never. Turn display off on battery when inactive. Warning. Never letting your display go to sleep may shorten eye. Turn display off on power adapter when inactive. Never. Warning. Never let it require password after screensaver begins or display is turned off. Immediately. Request show message when locked. Show message when locked. Toggle button. Show message when locked set. Dim. Heading when switching user. Login window shows. Login window shows list of users. Radio button. One of login window show to sleep. Restart and shut down buttons. Show to sleep. Restart and shut down buttons. On. Switch. Show password hints. Show password accessibility options. Button.
All right, accessibility options. So this has thrown some people off when reformatting their computers, or if you get a new Mac for the first time, you go to lock screen and then accessibility options. And why would you want to go here? I'm so glad you asked.
Voiceover. On. Switch.
Voiceover on, very important.
Zoom. Zoom. Off. Switch. Accessibility keyboard star. Accessibility keyboard star. Off. Sticky keys. Sticky keys. Off. Slow keys. Slow keys. Off. Mouse keys. Mouse keys. Off. Turning off a feature disables that feature for all users at the login window but can be turned back on by the accessibility shortcut menu. Start by turning on the feature. Your own configurations will be used for all users at the login window. Done. Button. Done. Button. But accessibility op-
And there you go. So that is how you can adjust what things turn on and off by default on startup.
Help. Button. Help.
So let's talk some more about startup real quick. And one of the annoying things that we now have to contend with is this new notification that displays logon items at startup. And what the purpose of this is, well, I think it's to kind of show the user what all things are happening with their thing. You can dismiss this though, and by doing so, you just simply
Notification center.
go to
With-
your notification
Scroll it.
center
Yeah.
with
Scroll.
VOO, and you can interact. And the first thing you'll see is log on items, and if you VO space and go down to clear, and
System
VO
settings.
space on
Lock
that,
screen.
thank
Window.
you. That will get rid of those notifications, but you do have to do this every time you restart. I have not found a way to disable this, and to my knowledge, nobody else has either. And hopefully, that is something that will get fixed with future updates. Speaking of updates, there has been at least one update to Ventura, and it has not really fixed anything that I can tell.
Access show password hints. Off. Out of lock
Okay.
screen. Scroll area. Enveloper. Content is empty. Table. Lock screen.
So, what else do we have on here? Well, here's another interesting one.
Desktop and dock.
Desktop and dock.
And desktop and dock. Scroll area. 43%. Heading dock. Heading dock 40%. Position on screen. Bottom. Minimize windows using Genie effect. Double click a win zoom. Minimize windows into minimize window automatically. Automatic animate opening applications. Animate opening applications. On. Show indicators for open applications. Animate opening applications. On. Switch.
I thought I had this off. Okay, let's take care
Show
of
indicators.
that.
Show indicators for open applications. On. Switch. Show recent applications in dock. Show recent applications in dock. On. Heading menu bar. Automatically hide and show the menu bar. In full screen only. On recent documents. App 10. Heading windows and prefer tabs when opening always. Prefer ask to keep change close windows when enabled. Oh, stage manager. Stage manager. Toggle button.
Stage Manager. Here's a new feature that I have not used myself. I've not been impressed with the idea. I really don't know that it has a benefit to us voiceover users. If anybody has used Stage Manager and would like to comment on it, by all means do so. From what I've heard, though, it is extremely buggy, both from a voiceover and a sighted perspective.
Stage manager customized. Dim. Stage manager arranges your recent windows into a single script for reduced clutter and quick access. Default web browser. Safari. Default web browser. Pop-up heading mission control. Heading mission control shows an overview of your open windows and thumbnails of full screen applications, all arranged in a new automatically rearranged spaces based on most recent use. Automatically when switching to an group windows by application. Group windows by application. Off. Switch. Displays have separate spaces. Displays have separate spaces. Shortcuts. Button. Hot corners. Button. Help. Help. Button.
Now, one of the things that used to be on here was different options for, like, your clock and stuff like that. That is gone from
Out of
this
text vertical
one.
splitter
No,
table.
it's-
Desktop.
Oh, it's in the control center.
Yes.
Undock. Select.
One of the differences now is, yes, if you want to adjust your clock settings, you have to go to
Control center.
Control Center. And one of the nice changes they have actually made is now if you have it set to automatically display the time and speak it, it will actually work every time you restart the computer.
And control center. Scroll area.
And this has been confirmed
59 items.
for
Edit.
a
Control center.
Mac 2017 as well as a Mac 2019. So this hopefully would work for you if you got frustrated with that feature and it not working every time you restarted your computer.
Heading these modules are always visible in control
So
center.
let's take a look at our
Choose
control
also show in
center.
Wi-Fi. Show in menu bar. What Bluetooth? Show in menu bar. Bluetooth. AirDrop. Don't show in menu bar. AirDrop. Pop-up button. Focus. Show in active. Focus. Pop-up button. Stage manager. Don't show in menu bar. Stage manager. Pop-up button. Screen mirroring. Show in active. Screen mirroring. Pop display. Show in active. The sound. Always show in menu bar. Now playing. Show in active. Heading other modules. Heading these modules can be added to control center and the menu bar. Accessibility shortcuts. Show in menu bar. Show in menu bar. On. Show in control center. Show in control center. Off battery. Show in menu bar. Show in menu bar. Show in control center. Show in control center. Show percentage. Show percentage. Off. Hearing. Show in menu bar. Show in menu bar. Off.
What's
Switch.
it talking about? Oh, just kidding.
Show in control set. Show in control class user switching. Show in menu account. Show in control. Show in control keyboard brightness. Show in menu. Show in menu. Show in control set. Show in heading menu bar only. Clock. Clock options. Button.
All right, so here's where you can customize the clock, and I'm sorry, guys, this eloquence
Pitch.
voice
50
is
grade.
getting
Ford
to me.
voice.
So.
Read. United Rocco.
Samantha.
Siri voice.
Siri voice for closing. Voice menu. Clock options button.
That's so much easier on the ears.
Spotlight. Clock options button.
So let's via space in our clock options.
Never. Show date pop up button. Show date. Heading date. Never. Show the day of the week. Show the day of the week. Off switch. Heading time. Style. Style digital. Selected radio button. 1 of 2.
And I believe it has to be on digital for the time announcements to work.
Style. Use a 24-hour clock. Dimmed. Use a 24-hour clock.
No, it
dimmed on
doesn't.
switch.
Okay.
Show MPM. Dimmed. Show MPM. Dimmed off switch. Flash the time separators. Flash the time separators. Off switch. Display the time with seconds. Display the time with seconds. Off switch.
Now, I could have sworn I had this on. Because sometimes I do like
Announce
to
the
see the
time.
seconds.
Announce the time. On switch.
All right. So another thing to get used to is some of these things that you were used to as checkboxes are now on-off toggles. So you still use VO space to enable or disable them, but get used to that it's now on-off toggles rather than check and unchecking boxes.
Interval. On the quarter hour. Interval pop-up button. Customize voice button. Customize voice button. Quit
All
systems.
right. Another
Clock.
thing to get used to is now with your announcement voices, you actually have your full voiceover range. As before, sometimes you were limited, so that really can be useful. So if your voice was not available in the announcement voice before, go check on that. And let's talk about accessibility real quick.
Out of vertical table. Appearance. Accessibility. Inaccessibility. Scroll area. Voiceover. Button. Zoom. Button. Display. Button. Spoken content. Descriptions. Button. Heading hearing. Audio. Button. RTT. But captions. Button.
So
Art
it's
audio.
really
Button.
the,
Art heading motor. Caps. Art audio. Button.
Audio that we
Scroll
want.
audio. Scroll area. In audio. Flash the screen when it plays stereo or audio as mono. Place heading AirPods. Herbert's AirPods Max. Show Herbert's Air. Show detail. Herbie's AirPods Pro. Show heading background sounds.
Background sounds. This is new to the Mac, but we've had this on iOS for at least iOS 14, actually.
Background sounds. Off switch.
So I have these off.
Plays background sounds to mask unwanted environmental noise. These sounds can minimize distractions and help you to focus, calm, or rest. Background sound. Rain. Background sound. Background sound choose button.
So you can choose.
Rain.
Let's see if I
Background
turn this
sounds. Off switch.
off, on. I don't think you'll. Okay, you're probably not hearing anything, are you?
No.
So I tell
Off.
you what. Let's see
Finder.
if I can,
Finder. Systems on.
because I'm getting
loop back.
rain
Loop back.
with
Out of calm Apple speech calm Apple speech channels 1 and 2 calm Apple speech calm Apple speech
right, hold on.
synthesis enabled in on.
Let's see if I can enable this into my system real quick. Nope, no, let's see. Okay, I don't know if you're hearing anything now.
Nope.
Nope. Okay.
No.
All right, one other thing to try. No. No, I really wanted. Okay, hold on, guys. And you're still not hearing anything?
Correct.
No.
Okay. Well, you can play with this for yourself if you have a Mac running Ventura. The rain sound, I gotta tell you, was actually a little bit loud, so. But there you go. So you can play around with this, go to accessibility and then hearing,
Systems.
and you can change the sounds
System. Loop
if you
back.
want
Loop
and
back.
all that.
Window.
And
On. Switch.
also, again, I do want to mention that this is not unique to the Mac. iOS has had these now for a couple of iOSs, going back to 14. So even if you are not a Mac user and would like to know more about these background sounds, you can still play with them. All right, some of the message features have changed a little bit. One that has been a big issue for me is there's now a way that you can select multiple messages at once to do things to them, like delete them or whatever. This has created a focus bug for me where it tries to select multiple things at the same time. You can also, though, however,
Dock. System
which
setting.
is
Messages.
really cool,
Messages.
is have
Danielle,
now
window.
several.
Selected.
Thank
Danielle.
you.
Okay.
Thank you. You can now have message filters, and these you might or might not like. So if you can find these in the view menu in messages, but I'm just going to do the shortcuts. So control option 1. This is the first time I've ever seen control and option used in a Mac.
All messages, broadcasters, pinned.
And if I do a control option and the number 2,
Known senders, checked.
known senders,
Unknown senders, back button.
unknown senders.
Recently deleted, 713,713. 3 messages, 26 days.
And notice, okay, let's come back to that. Well, we're here, actually.
Joyce Feinberg, 15 messages, 30 days.
So notice it's saying Joyce Feinberg, 15 messages, 30 days. So that's telling me how many messages I have by her, how many days I have to undelete this thread or message. And by the way, I do need to mention again that you also have this in iOS 16. It's a little different how you get to it, but you do have these filters as an option. In my case, I can just do a context menu, and I can go down.
Delete 15 messages.
I can delete these.
Recover.
Or I can recover.
Delete 15 messages.
And
Joyce
one thing I did
15
notice, though,
messages,
when
30
doing
days.
this is when I hit the
All
recover
messages.
button,
Search, text, field.
I had to reset
Control.
messages to see them back in my all messages. They were still showing up in the deleted messages, even though they had been recovered. And this really came in handy the other day, actually, when that message threading thing caused my pinned messages to all delete, and so I was able to recover them, but I had to repin them. But I was very happy that I was at least able to cover my message threads. If you are not like me and you do not keep a lot of your message threads, then you're probably not going to have some of the focusing issues that I've had, and that's fine. If you want a more detailed explanation on how messages works, then please refer to my demo that was done about a couple months ago on messages over on the Mac Club. Mail, they've introduced again some of the things with like undo sending of messages and all that.
Loop back.
Let's
Loop back.
see, what else?
Window, on,
Oh,
switch.
with messages. Now, if somebody has macOS Ventura, you can do things. I honestly have not played with this, and I've barely even played with it on iOS, but you can undo messages and all
Doc,
that.
messages, 3 of
Let's
30,
see,
loop back.
can I do that? We'll just experiment on Chanel real quick.
Messages. Danielle. App. Vertical conversation. In conversation. Chanel. Selected. Chanel. Pinned. Selected Danielle. Okay. Selected. Selected. Chanel.
And if you do get multiple messages selected and you need to get unstuck, you just have to up arrow on a message and then reselect it. It's a little bit quirky.
Out of vertical. Apps. Message. iMessage. Edit text. Is editing. Delete. Hi.
Now,
Apps.
can I
Messages.
unsend
In
the
your
message
iMessage.
before
Hi.
she sees
6
it?
menu. Tap back a lip. Tap back. Reply. Undo. Edit. Undo. Send.
I
Yep,
saw
I've
that I
got-
got a message.
Yep, and I do have undo send, edit.
Forward ellipsis. Copy. Delete ellipsis. Copy. For edit. Undo.
Yeah, but I
Selected.
did get the message
Your
notification on my
iMessage.
phone.
Hi.
Yes.
Mess-
Well, that happens either way, but
Okay.
but I was able to go to the context menu on that message and go down to undo send, or I could edit.
Loop
And
back.
so again, these features that are on iOS, we now also have on the Mac. And Chanel will have a notification telling her that I unsent the message that I just sent her.
Yeah. Yep.
So there's been a lot of documentation on how this feature works, so I'm not going to go into major detail, but provided the other person has a matching Mac or iOS and they have actually not opened your message, then you have like a few minutes to unsend or edit the message. And you would double tap on the message in iOS and you do your context menu in the Mac. Mail, the big thing is how links are formatted. This has been a
Doc,
source of
mail,
irritation
loop
for
back.
me, but I'm going to show you this. So I'm going to open
Mail.
a message and I'm going
New message.
to
Window. 2. L. Allen. Selection. Replay.
send a
2.
message
CC6
to
subject.
Chanel.
Edit text. Dropbox. Herbie. None. Signature. Pop up.
So I'm going to send her
Finder.
a Dropbox
Finder.
link.
Desktop.
But it doesn't
Doc,
matter
mail,
what
2 new
link
item.
it is. It's just Dropbox is convenient enough for me to do this. So know
Safari, 5 of 38.
I
Finder,
can do this on
T7 touch
YouTube,
volume.
why not?
Safari, T, yeah, T, delete.
I'm gonna actually, I tell you what, I'm gonna send her the Wordle link because she's never heard of this game, and
H Wordler,
she might
the
be
New York top
interested.
90% stats modal.
So I'm going
Web
to
dialog,
Wordle
close,
and
and 30 more items.
Safari,
HT,
going to
select all. Copy.
this link by doing Command L, Command A, Command C.
Finder, mail,
Gonna
tune,
go
mail,
to mail.
none, signature,
Making sure I'm on the body of the message, and now I'm going to do a Command V, and if I up arrow, what? It's not reading anything. Why? And
message, none, signature, pop-up Wordler, a daily word game nytimes.com, edit text.
okay, so what it is it's decided to reformat the link and just show me the title of the link now instead. So it's there.
New line,
But,
new line, Wordler, a daily word
And
game
if you want to see it, you can't use your up and down arrow keys. You have to use your left and right arrow keys. Where this has become a problem for
Safari,
me is like with Dropbox, we
York Times
change.
search or enter website.
Shut up,
Click
Safari.
Finder.
We change the
Desktop.
links so that way they are downloadable files, and you can't change it when the link is formatted. So you have to put it into an address bar like in Safari and change it there before you can paste it into your email. So get used to that change. Let's see what else. I can't think of anything else.
You can also set reminders in mail to follow up on messages.
Okay. Yep, I'd forgotten about that. Trying to think about any. Oh, yes, there is one other thing I want to talk about now. So you can now transfer phone calls between your phone and your computer, phone/FaceTime calls. And, this one I have to admit threw me off because I wasn't sure how to do it, but I figured it out. So when you're in a FaceTime call on your Mac, on your lock screen, you should see notification that says the FaceTime call. And if you double tap on it, it will transfer over. The transfer process is not smooth, and so it can take a few seconds. So I would suggest you don't do it while talking, or do it if the other person's like talking for 5 minutes. That's a good opportunity, or tell them to hold on if you don't want to miss anything they say. On the Mac, if you're on a FaceTime call on your phone or iPad, and you do need to be running the latest iOSs or macOSs for this to work, go to your notification center with VOO, and in there you should see the FaceTime call. Interact, and you will see a transfer button or move to Mac button. Double tap VO space on that, and that will transfer the call. It seems to work fine if you do it the first time. If you constantly do it, you could run into issues. And I imagine this is one of those features that's going to get smoother as time goes on. So I would just say be patient when using this feature. Whew. All right, enough from me for now. I can't. Is there anything else, Chanel, you can think of that I should mention for macOS Ventura?
No, I don't know.
You don't know.
I don't know.
You don't know.
Loop back.
All
Loop on,
right.
switch.
Well, one other thing I will mention real quick is that it has not broken any apps. For instance, as you could very well hear, I was able to use Loopback just fine. I've been able to use like Audio Hijack just fine. I've been able to use Zoom, all that good stuff. I know what else I did want to show you because
Rate 45%.
this has been interesting, and that is the volume control. If you want to go to your system volume through the system settings, that is different. So let's bring up the volume control.
System settings.
You can bring it up with a
window.
shortcut, by the way, with
Search text.
Option Function F11. But where you used to be presented with 3 tabs, you're now presented
Press
with
keyboard.
2 tabs.
Table. Sound. Select in sound. Scroll area.
So we're going to interact with the scroll area.
Alert sound. Heading sound effects.
And the first thing it does is bring up the
Alert
sound
breeze.
effects.
Alert sound. Play sound effects through. Corsair void delete you at alert volume. Minimum volume 100%. Maximum play user interface sound effects. On switch. Play feedback when volume is heading output selected tab.
And then you've got your output
Input
and
tab.
input tabs.
Table. Course input tab.
There has been a bug though where it's not the easiest to change output devices, where it's the confirm button that has been a little bit buggy. You can try tabbing and hitting VO space when it gives you that confirm button.
Just space, I thought Holly said.
Okay, just space. I don't honestly do this that much, but
Loop back.
you do need to be
On
aware
switch.
of that. Another thing you need to be aware of is now when you go into an app's preferences, it is not called preferences anymore. It is called settings. So anything that had the term preferences is now going to be referred to as settings. There is also a new method of text correction in voiceover, and that's option D, I think.
Right, option D, and it's not really text correction. It lets you review your errors. It does not give you the corrections that, so it lets you, there's basically, you can toggle between misspelling, incorrect usage of capitals, or extra spacing, and you toggle between those once you've brought up with right option D, you toggle with the left or right arrow keys, then up and down arrow to review the errors in each category.
Yep, so that is a new feature native to Ventura.
But it's very similar to the already present feature of going to the next misspelled word with VO Command E, or using your rotor, which is VO Command and left or right arrow to go to the misspelled category, and VO Command up or down arrowing to review the misspelled words. But again, it does not give you the corrections. You still need to command semicolon to bring up, or then to be able to do VO Shift M to bring up your menu of corrections.
Yep, very good. All right, so now why don't we see if you all have any questions? So raise your hand on both Zoom and request to speak if you're on Clubhouse, and we will get to you. And let's
Herbie,
start with
Nifty
Zoom.
NASCAR Nancy has had her hand up for a little while.
All right, well, I'm sure she's eager to be racing to the top, so go ahead, Nifty NASCAR Nancy.
Okay, whoops, microphone way down there. Okay. The background sounds, I notice that when you take your headphones off, or when you do something, you change something, they go off, they don't stay on, and you have to go back to audio visual settings every time to return them on. So how do you get them to, can you get them to stay on all the time, or do you have to go set it up every time?
Does anybody have an answer to this? Because I've only you looked at these. I've never actually used them as a permanent thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But if anybody has an answer, then please go ahead and just speak up. So I'm guessing one thing you could probably do is just not let your phone auto lock, and that might be the easiest solution to do it. Same on your Mac. I'm guessing locking the screen might disable the background sounds. I wonder if they also do it as some kind of like safety feature or whatever. But I'm thinking what's happening is those are maybe not meant to play when your screen is locked, and that's why they are going away. So that is my guess.
Yeah, it's just usually when you take the like the AirPods Max, or you take them off, or you take your
Right.
headphones off or whatever, then it goes off. But then I wish there was an easy way, because I use them for my tinnitus.
Mm-hmm.
They help with that, and I would like I wish there was an easier shortcut to get to that setting when you wanted to change it,
Well,
toggle it on and off.
you may also want to talk to our king of shortcuts, Darcy, and see if he knows how to create a shortcut to bring up the background sounds again. I'm
I'll do that,
volunteering, Darcy, because we love you, Darcy.
Yes, we do.
But he might know of a way to tell you how to create an exact shortcut that could just bring them back up, because I'm sure it could be done.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with how to do shortcuts, so that's something I need to learn anyway. So yeah, all right.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
All right, let's go on over to Clubhouse. Do we have any questions there?
I don't see any raised hands, but we have several people in here, so feel free to raise your hands. And if you've already raised them and I'm not seeing them, well,
all right, do we have any hands over on Zoom then?
I am not seeing any here either.
All right, well, I tell you what, I will double check something on Clubhouse. Open Clubhouse. Real quick, I think we finally, a lot of us in Clubhouse at least have exhausted the issue of macOS Ventura. But I will say that one of the questions I've gotten is, will there be a Mac Club on Thanksgiving, which is going to be in, what, 2 weeks? And the answer to that is no. We will take Thanksgiving off. But the good news is for you guys, I have worked out my next demo. And because I said I was going to cover this, and I think it needs to be.
I made you a moderator.
Okay, that's why I was saying the user was not in the room. Okay. So I'm double checking on the phone to make sure it doesn't see raised hands. Nope. Okay, they do not, so.
All right.
So I guess if nobody sees it, it didn't happen. Right? Isn't that how it works? Anyway, okay. So, anyway, the next subject I'm going to discuss is web browsing on the Mac. And that's going to be the week after Thanksgiving. And I'm going to discuss some voiceover settings, some nifty tools in Safari, including my favorite, the web rotor. And all
now
that.
we have some raised hands.
We have some raised hands. All right, let's bring them up then. Yay.
Polly or Callie. I'm sorry, don't the
Wow,
screen reader.
okay, the lady
Holly.
of three names.
No,
Holly,
I think
Polly,
it's
Kelly.
C-A. I think I remember looking at it before.
Yes, it's
C-A-U-L-I
Callie.
or something.
Hi.
Oh, Callie. Sorry.
Yeah, no,
I'm
it's
so
no
sorry.
problem at all.
Just
No
remember,
problem at
I
all.
recognized you.
Sorry.
And Herbie, it's not a question specifically about Ventura because I have not upgraded
That's
to
fine.
Ventura, but it's a basic Mac question. I have two
We
questions.
take those here too, so by all
Okay,
means.
great.
You or anybody.
No, if I receive a phone call and I want to answer it on the Mac, I can never do that. Do you know any specific steps that I'm supposed to take in order to answer a phone call on my Mac?
Yes, so if you're using Big Sur, forget it. It's a mess. It really helps to at least have Monterey.
I am using Monterey.
Good. So what's going to happen is when you get a FaceTime call on your Mac, it's going to pop up with a little window. And if you interact with that window where it says FaceTime notification, you just interact, then via right, you are going to see several buttons, including accept, decline, decline with options. And then you just VO space on whichever button you want. If you want to accept the call, you VO space on that, and that'll answer the phone call. Or if you want to send them packing, you VO space on the decline button. And that is how you handle a phone call on the Mac.
Okay, so when I get the notification, VO shift
Down.
arrow down to interact, and then right arrow to get
VO
to
right.
the. Oh, VO right.
Yes.
Okay.
This one, I don't remember if left or right arrow works, but VO left and
For
VO
what?
right.
For what?
Answering a phone call.
Oh, yeah, you'd have to do VO left and right. Yeah.
VO left and right.
You do have to do VO left and right. If your quick nav is on, then you can do left and right, but if your quick nav is off, then you make sure you include the VO key.
Gotcha. And then my second question, I've been cleaning out my email box today, and I created a subfolder where I have just some articles from NFB that I want to move into this folder, but they're not all in a row. So I can't Command A because that selects everything in my inbox. Is there any way to select individual
Yes.
items and then I can bring up the context menu and then move them all over at the same time?
Do you want me to describe
Yes,
that,
go ahead.
Herbie?
Go ahead.
All right, so I think this will work in Mail. I'm about 70% sure that it will, and that's the multiple selection, or it's called voiceover selection. And so basically, you make sure that you've interacted. This works either in Mail or in Finder. You make sure you're interacted with your mailbox or your file browser, whatever it is. And then you do VO command enter on the first file that you want to select.
Okay.
Then you do VO down arrow until you get to the next file and VO command enter again. And you keep going like that until you've selected all the files you want. And then you should be able to do VO shift M to move them to the context menu. I think that will work. I can't test it now, but I will try to verify that for you. And if it doesn't, I'll I'll find a way to text you in Clubhouse or something.
Okay, that sounds great. So VO command enter, that was selected. Release the VO command, go down to the next one,
Well, you have to go down to the next one using VO down arrow.
VO down arrow. I have to
Yeah.
use VO down arrow. Gosh, the
Yep.
VO modifier is going to kill me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you guys very much for
Are,
sharing. I
are
really
we allowed
appreciate
to
it.
mention NFB on here? No, just kidding.
No,
Herbie.
I'm just kidding. No, I really am just kidding. I promise.
Okay.
no, it's just from the app. They're just news articles I like to save, recipes and stuff. That's all.
Hey,
Okay.
for full transparency, guys, you will actually find all of ACB's publications over on NFB Newsline. And at least sometimes on state levels, you will actually find cooperation between the two organizations. So, there. I am not anti-NFB.
Herbie, this is just a quick 8-minute heads up, just so you know.
All right. Very good, very good. All right, do we have any questions over on the Zoom side?
Not at this time.
All right, so I think I've covered everything at least important with macOS Ventura. I'm sure I will remember something after the call is done and go, oh dear, I should have mentioned that. But I think for the most part, you're definitely going to be fine with upgrading unless you are really concerned about focusing or whatever bugs, which have, for me, they've only been in a couple of things, and for everybody else, it's usually a simple matter of just resetting VoiceOver. You should be fine upgrading and
You mean restarting VoiceOver?
restarting VoiceOver, yeah.
Yeah.
So, you should be fine. Like I said, it's not broken anything, and I've not heard of it breaking anything. So, you will, and like I said, you will notice some differences. Your Mac, in some respects, will respond to you more quickly. And just, the system settings, some things to get used to. Remember, your accessibility options now are in lock screen, not in users and groups. And you can explore the rest of settings yourself. If you're looking for something, you have an idea of where to look. And so I think that's going to do it. This is your last chance if you have any Ventura questions or just any Mac-related questions. This is your last chance for the day to ask them. All right. Well, we will be here in the club next week. Remember, we meet every Thursday right here on the Blind Mac Users Club from 4 to 5 Central Time, 5 to 6 ACB time. Those Thursdays can be a little bit more informal compared to the ones that you get on ACB. And then the following week, we will not be here. In fact, there will be no community calls on ACB other than the Friendsgiving. Well, actually, I shouldn't say that for sure. I don't know if that is for sure going to be the case or not, but I have been told that there will be a Friendsgiving call. And so if you are not subscribed to the ACB community, hurry up, do it now. Go to your mail app on the Mac, do Command N, and then type in the following: community@acb.org. If you're on Outlook on Windows, it's Control N, and I think Command N also works on Outlook on the Mac too. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. And or your compose button on your iPhone, and just type in community@acb.org in the subject line. Say you want to be added to the daily community call list. And then in the body of the message, you just need to type in your name and email address. And they will gladly add you. They might even send you a copy of today's happenings. But you'll for sure get the next day's schedule right to your inbox. And you'll be able to find out about all the amazing calls that are happening. And you can also follow the ACB Club for events that are simulcasted into Clubhouse. However, not all events are simulcasted, so it is still recommended that you subscribe to the email. And you'll be able to participate in All Day Friendsgiving, where you can... well, you'll just have to tune in to find out what it's about, but I got to go to my first one last year, and it was very exciting. So, we definitely recommend that you do that. You can also call in to get the schedule by phone, but it is not the most up to date, and that phone number is 1-800-424-8666, right?
Yes.
Okay. And you can do that as well. All right, last call for questions on either platform.
I'm not seeing
Nope.
any in Zoom. What's your battery, Herbie?
Well, I don't know. It's plugged in, so
Oh, okay. Okay.
sorry. It's a plugged in, and actually, no, that's an interesting question. If you have a non-battery Mac, what does it display with that VOF7?
I don't know.
I don't know. Well, on that note, then, Michael, you may end the Zoom room. And
will end
thanks to
Zoom.
Desi for streaming. And the club is also going to be ending as well.